Hi, everybody. My name is Eric. Feel free to call me Coach. Everybody does. I am the National Sales Director for First American DataTree. And for the purpose of today's presentation, it should be known that I'm also the Southern California Regional Chair for FIBRE, Foundation for International Blockchain and Real Estate Expertise, a worldwide organization with 70 chapters and over 10,000 members. And it's dedicated to bringing education and empowerment to the real estate industry on distributed ledger technologies. I'm going to talk to you today for about 15 minutes on a subject that should probably take about 2 hours. I'm going to share with you a few emerging technologies and some technologies that are already mainstream and you just don't realize it yet. I may use the B word, which I've already used once if you noticed, and a few choice D words, but I promise I'll keep this PG. Before we get started, let me get a drink of water real quick. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, that was much better. Wait a minute, I need a little more. Hold on. Okay, all right. I think I'm ready now. Let's go on to the next slide, shall we? I'm beyond excited that Sam and the team at RESO have allowed me to speak on the effect that emerging technologies such as blockchain and smart devices, second B word, will have on the continuing pursuit of data standardization throughout the industry. For those of you who don't know me, I'm kind of geeky when it comes to this subject. I love talking about it. Let me just say I am not a developer or a coder, but I do understand those roles and have been involved in the front-end design of a number of technologies. I consult on how a tool should look, act, feel, and I'm excited by many of the innovations I see being developed. I'm also convinced that it'll be an unbelievable amount of data heading our way soon. And when I originally wrote the word soon here, I was thinking 2 to 5 years. But as of today, I am in day 24 or so of shelter in place because of COVID-19. And by the time you see this, it'll be around 44 days. And I really believe that the emergence of technologies like blockchain, which are designed to lead us into a complete digital closing, will be accelerated greatly. And we may even see products like Propy, Shelter Zoom, and Qualia, among others, become mainstream by the end of 2020. Seriously, by the end of 2020, this thing could just escalate exponentially. Boy, that was tough to put those two words together. All right, moving on to slide number 3. To help illustrate the extent of our near future, I'm going to take you inside a project being worked on as we speak. But before I do, I'd like to thank the team at NetObjects for allowing me to share this with you. Up until today, it was quite stealth. So it's like opening night of a Star Wars film for you guys. The idea for this project took flight when a group of industry veterans and some developers realized that within our industry was a truly archaic system, a section that was often ignored, yet it was so important to our clients, especially buyers, who wanted to know and deserve everything that was for sale. It was staggering how bad it was. It's a segment known as for sale by owner. Homes for sale by owner can represent as much as 4% of an available market, and now with the pending inclusion of iBuyer market into its metrics, it's only going to grow. Yet as crazy as it might seem, this piece of our industry is still so fragmented and so disparate that there is little or no way to make sense of it. You can't truly calculate it, or the worst part of our professionals, especially those representing buyers, you can't get a real handle on what's available out there. Many say our industry as a whole is archaic, and to a certain level, I think we can all agree with that. But for sale by owner, that's prehistoric. It's completely screwed up. And as far as standards come, let's be real, there is none. And so was born Property List, a blockchain-based homes for sale by owner alternative where those who chose to participate in that section of our business could do so in a safe, cooperative, and decentralized environment. And most importantly, this new home for FSBO would actively participate in the standardization of data exchange so that all the participants in this room representing the MLSs, the realtor boards, and all of the value-added resellers, should they choose to, could easily access and exchange data on the homes being offered for sale by their owners. This would take place with simple, easy to use, up-to-date, and dare I even say innovative technologies. Taking advantage of distributed ledger protocols, smart contract controls, immutable databases of records pertaining to the property, ownership, public records of the homes, and perhaps even a fully executed 10-day closing. I have the privilege of working with companies who, as I am presenting this to you today, are actively developing towards that very goal. It's by far the best part of my job as a data provider, intersecting with my passion of emerging technologies. It's freaking awesome. Okay, as I promised, let's take a quick look at a tiny piece of property list and the type of data it introduces to our world, so we have a better understanding of the types of data that will flow organically through it. We'll then discuss the incredible and almost unfathomable amount of data that's going to come from the smart homes of tomorrow and maybe even today. This will lead to the startling realization that if it's not standardized, we will be buried by the complexities of this data. It's going to be here, it's going to be generated organically, and it has the potential, without standardization, to crush us. A great place to start is at the beginning. So to begin with, Property List is designed to be used primarily as a mobile tool, which represents its own challenges or standards. After entering their address, the homeowner's property information is auto-populated into the characteristics section via DataTree API, more standards. They are then asked to validate that they own the home through an automated KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer, or Prove Who You Are, and AML, which stands for Anti-Money Laundering, or Are You a Terrorist? Those elements are more standards. These things are provided by a partner like Finicity, whose technology can share verification of income, verification of employment, and verification of assets, along with financial data and a lot more. So basically standards, standards, and more standards. What if they would like the assistance of a professional? The system encourages them throughout to connect by direct dial, standards, email, standards, or via internal chat, standards. They can also connect via video chat. If you've seen the commercials for the tax preparation tool TurboTax, you just push a button, talk to a professional. That's in there, that's standards, and we're just getting started. A key feature of Property List is an internal token economy. This will be used for the exchange of compensation and reward. Each time they utilize a feature, there's an exchange of PLT, or Property List tokens, standards. Each time they reach out and engage a professional, be that an agent or a broker or a service provider like home inspection, termite, landscape, stuff like that, there's an exchange of PLT, standards. And when anyone is ready to cash out those tokens, which they can do at any time into fiat currency, it needs to pass through a token exchange, standards. The system also allows the use of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, that might be a B word, Ether, or XRP tokens to be used for earnest money deposit or even to complete the transaction. This brings a whole new dimension to foreign investment in U.S. real estate and a level of liquidity never seen before in our industry, allowing multiple investors to team up in a fractional ownership way and purchase a property on the platform. You know what else that brings? I can hear you through my computer. Standards. Because this is being built on a distributed ledger backbone, it has a number of underlying technologies that will allow seamless third-party integration. But wait, each of these integration points comes with what? You guessed it. Say it with me. Standards. So I guess that begs the question, why use blockchain? Blockchain allows them to access a common decentralized listing database. It supplies an environment in which all parties can collaborate and communicate, each with assigned permissions as to the level of information they will have access to. It virtually eliminates fraud. And I want to say that again because it's super important. It virtually eliminates fraud through the use of digital identities and transparent record keeping. And among a number of other innovative features, it allows real-time access to trusted professionals to get advice, answers, and expertise they would have never had before. In the past, that would have been the complete breakdown in the process right there. But now, oh wait, I can click this button, and for 20 property list tokens, I can talk directly to an agent or broker and get the answer. Boom, devastation avoided. So with this level of technology, it takes dozens of external integrations and partnerships. Like I was mentioning earlier. So partnering with others in the industry, the system will invoke KYC and AML elements, phonicity, we talked about that. It will qualify the buyers, also phonicity. It will allow access to historical data indicating the provenance of that home through a tool that we at DataTree call Flex Search. Yay, DataTree. Where it gives them actual access to a repository of over 7 billion publicly recorded documents. Dare I say, provenance light. How would we use that? Provenance light. It introduces utility tokens through a partner like RE Consortia, connects a crypto wallet with someone like Arcane Networks, and so many more connections that are needed to complete this project. Let's just say, standards up the yin yang. Standards everywhere. They're all around us in that. In that one paragraph, standards are everywhere. So if that wasn't enough to get your RESO geek on, it turns out that the difficulty lies not in the provenance or history of a property, but in its future. Maybe you could have foreseen some of the features I showed you in the last slide, but how about some stuff that's right in front of our faces and we may not have even realized or thought of how complex the standards are currently and will be as we move forward. Enter the data complexity of smart home implementation and why standardization will be vital to the success of harvesting what is an unfathomable amount of big data. Let's look at what a smart home may look like in just 2 years from now and the types of data that will be made available from that home. I draw your attention to the text on this slide. This technology enables the convergence of siloed systems and processes into an integrated home management and operations framework. That sounds like a crap ton of standards to me, and we haven't even broken it down yet. This data will now be stored in the blockchain forever and used by artificial intelligence programs, more standards, and machine learning tools, standards, and to create graphics and reports, yes, standards. These reports will be used by city planners, among others, more standards connecting to the city planners, and forever change the way smart cities are formed. They will exist largely within internal networks that integrate throughout the entire home automation system, performing all kinds of data exchange standards, and providing relative analytics. And I'm not saying it anymore because it's already over my threshold of the word, but standards. There are infinite reasons beyond they are so cool and they make my life so much easier that smart homes will see exponential growth. Among those are the communication, the interoperability, the integration, and how about this one that you might not have thought of? In-home marketplaces, where you participate in buying and selling data, energy, and insights. That's totally possible, and it can be done right now to a small extent. But as we move forward into the future, that could be a major part of it. And yes, it comes with standards. It'll be segmented or networked into smaller groups, like a Nest device. You've probably seen those. And then it's shared within that control group before it's being shared with other internal networks. Crazy. It's like standards inside of standards inside of standards. This slide kind of makes me dizzy, but the ability to control this enormous structure will fall on the infrastructure. It must be prepared to harvest, analyze, share, and store all of that data efficiently so it can be effectively communicated with the rest of the industry. This can only be done by moving to a blockchain environment. There is just no way under current data technologies that will be able to handle this avalanche of data. There's no way. Think of it this way. A smart home is now considered a digital asset. Much like some internet historians refer to the internet as the seventh kingdom of life because it is constantly learning and growing through the absorption of data, so will we be referring to blockchain architecture someday. It learns, grows, and adapts through artificial intelligence and machine learning. It's alive. I had to have at least one slide for the geeks in the room. Just a little snippet of the payload structure that you can start to imagine. Can you see the difference? I'm just kidding. I have no idea what I'm seeing here. But a lot of geeks in the room are going to understand this slide. So I put it in for you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tired with the amount of the data that I just spoke of. And I only had 15 minutes to do it. So I'm talking just an avalanche of data that's coming our way. And without RESO having laid the groundwork for standardization, this would engulf the industry to a point where it would probably crash a number of servers. It would make people pull their hair out. But because we've set this groundwork for standardization, and because we can look ahead into some of the things I just showed you, and we can start to conceptualize standardizing that type of data, it's not going to overwhelm us. It's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be hard, but it's not going to overwhelm us. And you may be thinking, this is so far away. But I want to emphasize, through my position as regional chair for Fibri and the access I am blessed with to a network of people, companies, and development teams around the world who are actually actively solving these issues that were spoken about today in real estate related topics, I can safely say that these solutions, like Property List, which you only got a little bit of a glimpse of, are real, and they are close, very close. I want to thank you all. May this presentation find each of you and yours safe, healthy, and strong. I'm the coach, and I'm out.